In fact, your convincing will repel them. So your ready right now audience, these are people who they already know. They already know they have a problem and they are actively searching for a solution. Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Sharice Williams Show, the only podcast created for highly conscious, high-impact, nurse-turned entrepreneurs looking to create, launch, and scale a wildly profitable holistic health coaching and consulting business from a place of ease and flow, while also optimizing their wellness and vitality. You guys, I'm so excited. I'm Sharice Williams, and I am excited to bring this topic to you today. And it's a topic of moving out of convincing mode into speaking to clients who are, quite frankly, ready right now. Okay, why is this important? This is important because if you are spending time and energy in convincing mode, I'm putting air quotes for those that are listening, if you are spending time and energy in convincing mode, that's probably the reason you're hearing things like, now's not the right time, can I get back with you, from your potential clients, okay? Let's talk about convincing mode. If you're not quite sure, if you are in convincing mode, if you have been in convincing mode, and so what does convincing mode look like, feel like? And here's the thing: if you've ever been in convincing mode, I think you will know what it feels like. But convincing mode feels icky, for lack of a better word. Convincing mode feels like I have to get her. My goal is to get her to sign up, to get her to enroll, or him to enroll. It's you doing something to them, right? You kind of energetically, just spewing onto them. It feels even predatory, right? It feels even predatory. And it's not a feeling that I don't believe any of us enjoy being in. Okay. So how do we shift out of it? Because we want to make sure that we are efficiently, effectively, thoroughly communicating and articulating how it is that we do what we do, who it is that we are, right? How it is that we do what we do, who we are for, right? So we want to make sure that we are confidently articulating that, but not in a convincing way. And really, to be clear, when you're in convincing mode, when you're focused on you, what you're going to get out of this conversation, what you're going to get out of this interaction. Okay? It's a really important distinction to make. And so here's the thing too, if you're finding yourself kind of reluctant to have conversations, to schedule enrollment calls, it might be because you're like, oh, I don't want to have that feeling. And so here's the thing. You're right. You don't want to have that feeling. You don't want to go into convincing mode. You don't want to be in convincing mode. However, you do want to have that conversation, right? You do. I'm going to say need. I very rarely say the word need, but you do get to have that conversation to allow for clarity for both of you and the person on the other end of the phone or the Zoom or whatever the case may be, so that you guys can both make sure that this is an aligned fit, right? It's not one-sided. It should be an aligned fit. So we don't want to go into convincing mode. Here is the thing. When you're in convincing mode, this is what starts to happen. One, people consume your content, whether that's online or on the phone, on a Zoom, whatever the case may be, and they kindly thank you. They're like, oh, thank you. That was so good. Thank you. And you're like, okay, you're welcome. The other thing that will happen is what you'll find is that they don't follow up. Let's say, for instance, you did have a phone call, an enrollment call with them. Again, whether it's phone, Zoom, whatever the case may be, whatever method you've chosen. But what you'll find is they don't follow up with you. They don't follow up, and they don't engage in your contact because of your energy. Remember, it's always been said. We've heard this said. People don't remember what you say, but they remember how you made them feel. And so, if have you ever had a conversation when you've ended the conversation, you're like, ew, like, ugh. It just didn't that didn't feel good. You didn't leave the conversation feeling great. My goal, and this is how I teach my clients, my business coaching clients, is that you want to make sure that every conversation, any interaction someone leaves your presence, um, leave from within your presence, you want to make sure that you have left them better than you received them. My mom always taught me that. Leave something better than the way you found it, right? Now, whether they enroll in your program, product, service, whether they've done that or not, you want the lasting impression to be, huh, I feel good about that conversation. I feel good about my yes. I feel good about my no. And that's not to say that you don't have difficult conversations when you are having a conversation with them, even on an enrollment call. And in fact, I would even go as far to say it's because you were willing to have a difficult conversation, because you were willing to call them out on their BS, if you will. We all have BS. And but because you were willing to call them out on that, oftentimes that is the very reason why they decide to work with you. Okay. So they don't follow up with you. They don't engage because of the energy. Remember, always leave them better than you found them. That is always the goal, right? You might even be hearing a lot of, like I said, not right now. Can I get back with you? I need to talk to my husband or my partner. And here's the thing, not to say that you will not hear those objections, if you will, or those concerns, if you will. You will. But if you find that you are hearing them, you're getting an overabundance of these responses. Now's not the right time. Let me think about it. Can I get back with you? I need to speak to my husband or my partner. You're probably in convincing mode. Okay. When I speak to my clients, and they share this with me, because this is one of the things we do whenever they have enrollment conversations, we hop on Voxer, and I'm like, okay, tell me how it went. Whether it was a yes or a no, whether they enrolled in the program or not. Let's walk through the conversation, because that shows me that helps me to identify, okay, what do we need to kind of to tweak in the conversation so that you are having effective enrollment conversations. Okay, so you might also, when you're convincing mode, you may also find that that people are saying yes. They are saying yes to your services, but then they ask for a refund. How many of you have experienced that? And let's just be clear. It's just a part of doing business. It is just a part of doing business. How many times have you ever returned something to the store, Target, grocery store, wherever? Right? We've all participated in a refund at some point in time in our lives. But what I really want to, and again, it's just part of business. But if you're finding that it's happening often, it might be because it's probable that you have been in convincing mode. Because here's the thing: if you had to convince them to enroll with you, guess what else you're going to have to do? You will have to continue to convince them every step of the way. You will have to continue to convince them to show up for themselves, show up for the program, implement what you're sharing. You guys, that is the worst way. That's the most horrible way to run a business, in convincing mode. Okay. And not to say, really want to make this distinction, not to say that you will not, as a coach, as a coach, there's not to say that you won't have moments in your coaching container, in your coaching experience with your clients, where you do have to lovingly guide them to their next step. There's a difference between lovingly guiding them to their next step, which is probably going to be out of their comfort zone, but that's why they hired you, to help them through that. If they didn't want to get out or move out of their comfort zone, they would not have hired someone to assist them in that process, hold them accountable, give them the guidance, right? So there is a clear distinction between the two. Okay, lovingly guiding them to their next steps, even calling them out on their BS, versus convincing them every step of the way. Y'all, that's you don't want to do that. Okay, horrible. All right. And then another way that you can kind of tell if you're in convincing mode is that the people who do end up enrolling in your program or your product, your service, they don't actually start to take action and they don't get results. Again, now you're going to have people. I'm making this distinction, right? This is not. I don't want you to just make that. Oh, my clients didn't get a result, so I must be in convincing mode. No, you know when you're in convincing mode. If you're being really honest with yourself, you know when you are in convincing mode. Okay. All right. So instead of being in convincing mode, now that we've established, okay, what is convincing mode? How does it feel? What is it? What is it? How does it show up in our experience, right? So now that we've identified that, well, what do we need to do? What can we do instead of that? So instead of being in convincing mode, what you want to do is, quite honestly, and it sounds so simple because it is you really want to focus on taking yourself out of the equation and being others focused, making it more about them. So instead of saying, oh, I have to convince them that I know what I'm doing. I have to convince them that they're going to get results. I have to convince, no, 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 no. Relax, take a deep breath, even maybe take a step back and make it about them. And here's the thing, you want to speak to your ready right now audience. When you are speaking to your ready right now audience, I like to call it RRN, get it? RN, anyway. When you are speaking to your ready right now audience, it makes a world of difference. So who is your ready right now audience? Let me tell you, your ready right now audience, these are people, they don't need convincing, okay? In fact, your convincing will repel them. So your ready right now audience, these are people who they already know they have a problem and they are actively searching for a solution. They are actively looking for you, right? There's no convincing needed. They're already looking for, they know there's a problem. They know what they need, right? They know they have a problem, whatever the problem, perceived problem is, and they're actively looking for the solution. They're ready. Okay, write this down. They're ready to solve their problem. And they know that now is the right time. Now is the right time, right? Again, no need to convince them. They already know. They already know this. Right? Last week was the right time. Last month was the right time, but they weren't in your ecosystem yet. They didn't even know that you existed yet. They hadn't come across all of your beautiful, the beauty of who you are and the service that you provide. But they've been ready. They've been ready since last week, last month. Some people even 6 months ago. They're ready, right? So no need to convince, right? You're ready right now. Audience is ready to take action now. Yay! Can we get excited about that? Can we just celebrate? Let's do that, okay? They don't need hours of content. Now, let me finish my sentence. They don't need hours of content. They just need you to be able to confidently articulate the specific result or results that they want, they've been wanting, they've been thinking about, they've been obsessing about all this time. They've been obsessing about it all this time. They're constantly thinking about this, right? They're wanting to fix this problem, right? They don't need hours of content. Now, that being said, what you also want to remember is that not everybody is ready right now. Okay, so hear me clearly. Content is very important. It is so very important that you are putting content out there, right? Because let's say this group of folks, maybe they're not ready right now, and not maybe they aren't ready right now. But guess what? Through you showing up consistently, through you posting high value content, through you articulating how you can help them, who you help, right? You're nurturing them. You're nurturing them. You're nurturing them through the process. And guess what? They will eventually become ready right now. So that is why it's so very important to make sure that you are consistently putting out high quality content so that you can nurture them through that process. Now, we all know not everyone's going to eventually become ready right now. That's okay. That's fine. You're not worried about them. But who you are worried about, or not worried about, but who are you are focused on, and who you are doing what you do for are the people who are ready right now, and the people who will become ready right now. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. We've cleared all that up. If you feel like you need support, if you feel like you want support, because I'm so approachable. Let's just say that. I'm so very approachable. Send me a DM. Send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, doesn't matter. And I'm happy to help you get clarity around how to speak specifically to your ready right now audience so that you can start making quantum leaps, whether it's quantum leaps like going from 0 clients to your first 5 clients, your first 1 client. How about that? Maybe it's quantum leaps to your first 6 figures. Maybe it's quantum leaps to your next 6 figures and beyond. But bottom line is, if you feel like you need support in this area, I am happy to help you tweak. It's probably just a minor tweak. Help you do a minor tweak so that you can start talking to your ready right now audience. You can start identifying who your ready right now audience is and how to effectively communicate to them so that you can create quantum leaps in your business. Okay. All right. So that being said, as always, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm so very grateful for you joining me here today on this episode. I cannot wait to see you next week for next week's transformative, informative, impactful episode of The Sharice Williams Show. Bye for now.